Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here. And the first thing we're going to talk about this morning is something very important because I want to wish my beautiful wife, Gail, a happy birthday today. Wake up and enjoy the show. You have a special day. We're going to do all kind of fun things. We're going to go eat lunch, and we're going to go out to dinner tonight, and we're going to dance and all kind of stuff. So happy birthday, Gail. Love you. All right, let's move on with our weather. It's high today of 89 and low of 79. I think we're going to get into the lower 90s. It's hot. They kept saying it's going to cool off at the end of the week, but when they say cool off, they're going to say it's going to be down to 89. The water temperature, though, speaking of 89, is at 89 degrees. That is really warm. The river reading is brought to us by Mountain Dew. Take it outside with Mountain Dew. We're looking at the Apalachicola sort of got a little bit of a drop to it, looking at a 7.2, and it's in pretty decent shape now. A lot of fly fishing going on all along the Apalachicola River and the tributaries. The Octahatchee at Caryville, 2.7, and it's going to start dropping out pretty steady today, but it looks like it's going to be dropping out tomorrow and on toward the end of the week. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. Not really good tides today. High tide is at 8:22 and lows at 10:21 tonight. So when I say not good tides, not a lot of flow, but we're going to have a west wind coming in at about 10 to 11. So understand that when you're getting out on the bay today. We're going to take our break and come back with our special guest. Welcome back and welcome again, Officer Travis Bassford.
Good morning.
Glad to have you. I get a lot of compliments on Travis being on the show. It makes me a little bit jealous. I don't know if y'all think he looks better than I do or what, but anyway, Travis has got so much to go over and always this list, he's got an organ. Look at this right here. That's organization. So Travis, let's get started, buddy.
Man,
what's going on?
Nothing much. Just staying busy out there on the water, and fishing's been great. Busy boating season, and we just staying busy. So just trying to keep track of all these changes and rules and regulations like everybody else. So we just want to try to get the information out there to the public so they've got it, especially things that are changing. And one thing we have coming up in just a few days is going to be this shore-based shark fishing permit. It's a new permit that's going to go into effect July 1st. We talked about it, I guess it's been a few months ago. We talked about it briefly when they approved it. But I just wanted to review the details of the permit, the requirements, and then kind of go over the shark fishery a little bit, something that we don't talk about on a daily basis, but something that's changed a lot just in my lifetime. I know growing up, they always had those big shark fishing tournaments, and they brought in some monsters from out there, and that's kind of a thing of the past. But there are some sharks you can harvest. Some have size limits, some don't. But the details with this permit is it's a mandatory no-cost annual shore-based shark fishing permit, similar to, you have a shore-based fishing permit for Florida residents. This is for shark fishing, and the requirements of it, the reason they created it is to increase the survival rate of released sharks and then improve information gathering of the fishery. Kind of also similar to the Gulf Reef Fish Angler Permit that we have if you're targeting reef fish when you go saltwater fishing. So the thing is, you'll need it if you're 16 or older, and if you're 65 or older. Those people are normally exempt from needing a fishing license, but they want you to get the shore-based shark fishing permit if you're fishing for sharks, targeting sharks from the beach or from the shore. Some of the requirements of it now, and there's educational requirements on here, but it prohibits chumming. When you're fishing from the beach and you're shark fishing, because that was a big thing. They had some workshops on this, and that was the main, I guess, concern of the public. You got people swimming in the water on a busy beach, swimming beach, and then people are chumming for sharks. Kind of a common sense thing there. We don't want to have any conflict. So, and then also requiring the immediate release of prohibited shark species. And what they're detailing on that is, when they say release, cut the line. If you get a big shark up there, you don't have to remove the hook.
Right.
You can cut that line or leader, and you don't delay the release of the prohibited species. Remaining that the prohibited shark species, requiring that they remain in the water.
That's a big thing. Which, he's got to be in the water. You can't drag them up on the shore and take pictures. Keep them in the water. That's a big thing.
And we've talked about that because you've seen them on the Cape and all along the Gulf Coast. So yeah, if you catch a big, let's say tiger or hammerhead or something like that, you want to get a picture of it, that's fine, but don't tail rope him and drag him up there, 50 yards on the beach and take pictures of him for a half hour. Leave him in the water, cut the line or whatever. You can have him in some water where you can get out there to him, but get a picture and let him go. Requiring the use of non-offset, non-stainless steel circle hooks, to target or harvest sharks. And the only reason there is rust out.
It'll rust out, that's correct.
And it's just less chance that they're going to swallow that stuff. And another thing too, it's hook and line only, and you cannot use treble hooks or any other multiple hook, device when you're using live or dead natural bait. So that's another thing. And then I think the last thing here is they want you to have a device capable of quickly cutting the line. So a knife, pliers, whatever, crimpers if you're using a leader, and be able to cut that. So a lot of kind of, I guess, requirements on here. You can find out more on myfwc.com, fishing, saltwater, and then /recreational sharks.
There's something, I'm glad you brought all the information out because we all need to understand it. But it's something special about catching a shark. We've caught them before. They're fun and enjoyable to catch. But we got rules to go by. We want to keep catching them. These are just common sense rules, really.
They are.
They really are. And they're about a non-stainless steel. You want to do that. They don't need to ever keep a shark. I mean, really. You want a picture, of course, but you don't want to. You just want to make sure you understand the rules now. But most of them are going to be the serious shark fishermen are going to be doing it at night.
Right, and a lot of them want to catch the big ones and all that, and nothing wrong with it as long as you do it in a responsible way. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. And then there are some you can keep if you want to. There's two groups. Group one's got 12 species, like the little Atlantic sharpnose, the black tip. They have no size limit. And then the second group, they have a 54-inch size limit, which would be like your bull sharks, spinner sharks, nurse sharks, things like that. And it's 1 per day or 2 per vessel, whichever's less. So the main thing is that they just want to be able, we all get to use the waters of the state and the beaches and all. We just want to make sure that swimmers, surfers, fishermen, they can all get along and use the same area. And that's kind of what this is about, and do it in a safe manner, So. Hopefully everything will go smooth with it, and again, these changes go into effect July 1st.
Okay,
so just here in a few days.
What's the next couple of days?
Right.
Let's take our break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. As here, Officer Travis Basford. We're just counting up all the Mosley boys that are now with the Game and Fish Commission. We've got 5 of them, right? Around 5.
Yeah, you said Bay.
Just in this area right here in Bay and Gulf County. So that makes us all proud, and all 5 of them, I guarantee you, they're good young men, but don't break the law now, because they've been taught to get after you, and I appreciate that. I want to say a special good morning to my first cousin, Jimmy Chester, up in Brevard, North Carolina. Watches the show every morning on YouTube. Cousin Jimmy, it's good to see you the other day, and we just enjoyed our company, and we're going to come up and see you all this fall, I promise you. All right, let's get back to Game and Fish Commission, Florida Fish and Wildlife.
Let's roll into it. And like you said, those Mosley guys, we got our start there, Outdoor Ed, introducing us to the great outdoors even more at Mosley. So that was a great class and a great program. So we can roll into it. We're right here in the middle of snapper season. I'll tell you what, we had some rough weather last week.
Man, it was blowing bad, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had my wife Nicole as an officer with us, and she was out with another officer. I had a search and rescue in the path, and they were working with Coast Guard, and it was about 8-footers rolling in the path. They said the Coast Guard 45 was out there, and they were taking them over the front. So they had some kayakers out there. Now, why you go kayaking when there's 8 foot in the pass, I don't know. But they got out there and got themselves in a bind and ended up being okay. But so they were out there working that. And she said, I'm gonna tell you, it was rough when that Coast Guard 45's taking them over the front.
Yeah.
That's when our 30-footers are like, well, we might want to.
Oh my goodness.
Use some caution. But now we should have some better weather. But anyways, people have been going, even when it's rough. always, just keep it in mind. It's just a fish. You can wait for a better day because we have seen people try to push it, being that it is snapper season. So snapper season recreational for the private recreational anglers, state and federal season, and then the private, then the state charters, June 11th through July 12th. And then the federal charter season, it opened on June 1st. It's going to run through into August. So just want to go over that. We're seeing really good catches. I know it did slow down a little bit. About a week and a half ago, we had that full moon.
Yeah.
And the morning bite was slow, but it's starting to pick back up. Amberjack season closed right now, going to be closed here in Snapper. It's going to reopen August 1st and then run through October 31st. And then, of course, we have gag grouper and red grouper open. Another thing Coach and I were talking about, I just want to remind everyone because I know, excuse me, a lot of people like to go down east and go scalloping, and just some openings that are going to happen here. July 1st, base scallop's going to open in Franklin County, Northwest Taylor County, and Levy and Hernando County. So
that sort of sneaked up on us. I'd forgotten about that. So the Stenhatchee area and all of that, where that's going to be opening up.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you want to go down there and do a trip, I know a lot of people would. St. Joe being the way it has been the last several years, they like to go down there and go, and then we'll have a St. Joe season later, which I know Coach are always excited about. So just want to remind everyone there. And then another thing I want to talk about that's kind of a hot topic right now, and you kind of see the pattern here, and I should have got this information now. It's not really a huge fishery up here, but blackfin tuna. More of an incidental catch when people are trolling for kings or dolphin, wahoo if they're freelining offshore. But a great sport fish, a great eating fish, and we do have them up here. So there's been some concern for the fishery, especially Southeast Florida and the Florida Keys, and they had some workshops. I should have got the word out. It was actually this spring. But they're talking about looking at those regulations, because right now there's no regulation in federal waters. And then in state waters, there's no regulation other than the default 100 pounds or 2 fish, whichever's less.
Okay.
So legally you can have 100 pounds of, blackfin tuna because there's no regulation. So they're looking at doing that, and although the workshops are over with for our area, if you have a concern or if you like to catch blackfin, you want comment on it, you can go to marine@myfwc.com. You can send the comments to there, or go to the FWC Saltwater comments page. And we talked about that before we've had the workshops on cobia, we've had them on spotted sea trout, and it's the same thing with tuna. And if you want to leave a comment, they still want comments on sea trout and now flounder, and then also the blackfin tuna. So again, you can go to the FWC Saltwater comments page. What you're seeing out there, are you catching a lot, are you catching a little? And what's your opinion on, should the regulations stay the same, or would you like to see a change?
That's interesting on that blackfin tuna. I didn't know that was the situation. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a really cool fish, and when I worked in Palm Beach, I saw a lot of them because you're so close to the Gulf Stream down there. But we don't see them quite as much up here, but they still get caught, so in the Gulf. Another one thing I wanted to get out real quick also is this time of year, late June, July, we're getting into the middle of summer, and we're starting to see, I educated some people the other day at the state park actually, on king mackerel and Spanish mackerel, the difference. We're seeing those juvenile kings. Remember, a juvenile king or a young kingfish will still have spots. Similar to a Spanish, you need to look at the lateral line. It has a sharp drop on a king, whereas the Spanish is more gradual. And then you can also look at that top dorsal on a kingfish is gray, and a Spanish will be jet black. So just some things to remember there, because we're starting to see those come in.
That's interesting, and I guess the state park's been pretty busy.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And the boat ramp's in good shape and all. So
yeah, boat ramp's good. They're still working on the campground.
Yeah.
They're hoping to have that completed by the end of the year. St. Andrews.
Yeah.
And then of course we're still working over there on the Cape.
Okay.
But yeah, they're working hard. I tell you, it was I guess last weekend they had to shut it down because there were so many people in there.
Really?
They count so many, and then as people come out, they'll let more in. But
you see much action at the jetties? Catching much fish out of jetties?
We're still seeing redfish at the jetties. Been a lot of slot fish this year. Checked some people the other day. One had a 26 and a half, and another one had a right under 27, so they're good to go. So yeah, we're seeing that, and then just your normal, ladyfish and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people getting out there. I mean, school's out, so it's busy. People are fishing.
Yeah.
So, yep.
Okay. What else you got?
That's pretty much it. I mean, in the bays, it's been pretty steady with trout this year. I have heard some really good trout.
It's been a good year on trout.
Yeah, and it's been slow last couple of years we talked about, but this year's been a good year.
Well, and redfish has been pretty strong. Have you seen?
Redfish has been consistent. Yeah, redfish has been consistent, and then we've had some pretty clear water, so the people that like to sight fish for them doing pretty good. So.
All right.
But yeah, that's
all right.
What's going on.
Sounds good. We're going to take our break, come back with our case of the month. All right, welcome back. Let's take a look at our Blue Water Outriggers fishing time for today. We're looking at 6:55 to 8:55 this morning, and this evening from 7:16 to 9:16. Always one of our highlights of the whole month is when Travis comes on and always comes up with an interesting case of the month. And there's folks like that's involved in these cases of the month. If you didn't have these, you wouldn't have a job. Just think about it.
Job security, I guess.
So I guess we want to be thankful we have a case of the month. So let's see what Ron's done this time. All right, here we go.
Yeah, as always. I mean, we always want compliance and we wish we could get it voluntarily, but usually we have to take some action sometimes. So. Case of the month. I just want to recognize two officers here in Bay County, Officer Nicole Bassford and Officer Steve Wicker.
And we know Nicole, correct?
Yep, she's been on a time or two, and they did a really good job. I mean, they were out there working hard, checking boats, and they had a boat come in from offshore. Said they had been offshore reef fishing and had some snapper and grouper. So they start doing the inspection, and Nicole sees one of the grouper and it looks short, and she asked the captain, said, "Hey, y'all know the size limit on grouper? You're familiar?" And it was a gag. He goes, "Yeah, I think it's 16 inches, which is, as we know, is way off. It hadn't been 16 inches in a long time." So anyway, so they do an inspection, they get the fish out, and the snapper were legal. The grouper they had a lot of issues with, so they had 9 grouper on board that was gag and red, and 7 of them were undersized.
7 out of 9.
Yeah, 7 out of 9, so not too good odds for them. And they had 6 undersized gags, 1 undersized red grouper. And so I think 2 or 3 separate people on board ended up getting citations that day for possession of undersized grouper, and then the undersized fish were seized. So they got to keep their 2 legal ones, and the 7 were seized. So good case by Nicole and Officer Wicker, and just a good job out there. And those kind of cases they've been getting made all over the region. Basically all summer, and just a good job by officers just enforcing those rules, because they're there for a reason, and those guys just obviously didn't take the time to measure or even look at what the size limit was, it sounded like.
Yeah, you look at those situations and you know, and I know too, that's intentional. And I mean, everybody say, "Well, I got to have a lawyer with me to tell the sizes." That's not true. You got a little app on your phone, you got a little folder, you know the sizes. And so that's never an excuse. But when something like that happens, as a law officer, they know they're illegal, but they're going to try to get away with it.
They will.
They know ahead of time. They're just going. Hopefully, I'm not going to get checked today, and probably 3 out of 4 times I may not get checked. But at one time we get checked, hopefully they get busted.
Yep, and those guys did. They got busted.
I've seen them. I've been around them my whole life. People like that. They just keep on. They think the resource is theirs, and they can just pick and choose.
Right.
And then the laws don't apply to them.
You're right. There's a lot of people that feel that way, and that's the thing. I mean, whether it be a deer or a turkey or a fish, the resources for all of us, is for all the citizens of the state. And anytime people do stuff like that, you're just taking the resource away from the people trying to do it legally. Those 7 right there, those could have been legal fish next year, for people to harvest, and who knows how many more they would have bred. So, anyways. Good case.
Good case.
And I said, there's been cases like that been going all over the region. So
you get a lot more of those cases too.
Yeah, a lot of reef fish cases being made, and even when seasons open up, sometimes people want to keep too many, different things like that. So we've been seeing a lot. Boating accidents. We had one last weekend. Fortunately, it wasn't a serious injury. So again, it's been busy.
Are you seeing like around the jetties and all? People are snorkeling and all that, or is everybody okay doing that?
They are, and we just want to encourage everyone again. If you're gonna snorkel, get you a dive flag, especially you go on the outside of the rocks there, because just the boat traffic coming in and out of that pass just on a daily basis is very, very heavy. And But yeah, it gets you a dive flag and then stay next to it. So it's been busy. And then we talk about the pass. They're still catching some redfish.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of slot fish this year. A lot of slot fish. Usually it's oversized, and a lot of ones just perfect size there. People being able to harvest them. So
we mentioned about us as sportsmen giving input, and we don't have a lot of time to talk about. And I'm going to go online. I'm going to give some input too, because we were talking about what Alabama did with the flounder. Alabama is now protecting the flounder for the month of November, which is when it's spawning. And I'm going to be I may make some of y'all upset but I'm in favor of Florida doing the same thing, taking that month of where they're spawning and just no floundering. And I've got gigging friends and I got diving friends, and some of them are going to be mad at me, but I can't help it. It's just how I feel about it. Mm-hmm. Because they're really and truly, everybody knows they're going to go in 60 foot of water and they're going to just lay there. And they're going to be spawning, and they boom, boom, boom. So we need to look at Alabama. I thought had a lot of vision in doing that. So what's your take on flounder, seeing all this out there? Are you?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're seeing changes, and I think that's why they're wanting to gather the input, and that seems to be kind of how FWC is doing it. They want stakeholder input before they make a change, because there's not always a fresh or a recent stock assessment. So they're just kind of gathering information right now, and that might be something they look at. We do have a closure on some fish when they spawn. You look down south at the snook. They close it, and then up here with grouper, they spawn there in the wintertime, and they close it when they do that. So, I mean, it's something that probably they could look at. So they're just in the information gathering stage right now. So,
Hey, we used to have speckled trout in February and March, I believe. We used to.
Used to have a closure, and then they talked about that also with those. So that's something they're going to revisit trout. There was a lot of, we had these workshops and not many people showed up, and then when they got to the commission meeting to make a rule change, people come out of the woodwork and were very, wanted to voice their opinion, and that's what they want. They want the input from the stakeholders, and that's something they're going to revisit with trout, and that was something they mentioned, possibly re-implementing the February closure. Nothing as of now. But like you said, we used to have that for years.
That'd be interesting.
So.
Well, Travis, good job again. Good case and good information, really good information. And if you have any questions at all, give us a call or call the main office out there, and they'll answer your questions.
Absolutely.
Thank you, buddy. Good job.
Thank you.
Now you got to go to work.
Yes, sir.
All right. It's not going to sunburn too bad, though. I like your beard.
Yeah, I'm getting a little protection there.
Thank you all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. We appreciate the viewership. Do something good today for your fellow man. God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.